بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله روحي وجسمي وأرواح العالمين لك الفداء يا غريب ويا مظلوم كربلاء ثم السلام عليكم يا أهل العزاء الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته مع الصلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا خير عملا صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
These are verses from Surah Al-Kahf, chapter 18, verse number 46. As a matter of fact, these verses were recited tonight when the Quran session was in place, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about two ni'mah, two endowments, two ni'mah that Allah has given to us. And Allah describes these two ni'mah as a decoration for any human being. Anyone who has these two decorations, when he comes out, he feels proud of himself that Allah has given these two most valuable assets. What are they? Al-mal, wealth, and children. These are two assets, these are the two gifts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to whom He wishes. And He describes this as a decoration, it's something which is adornment. But then He says, but the lasting, the righteous deeds are better with your Lord. Why is this? These are the gifts that Allah has given us, and if we use them, if we spend them the way He wants us to do, that is better. Just having it and spending it on ourselves alone, you can spend it, but there is no lasting benefit. This is Allah talks about the lasting benefit. Yesterday we could not finish. We were talking about our responsibilities during the time of the ghaibah of our 12th Imam, Hazrat Hujjat ibn al-Hasan. And we classified these benefits in terms of those things that we do to him, and there are those things which we do for him. Two distinctive responsibilities. And we mentioned about those responsibilities which are for him. And then we started talking about those responsibilities that are to him. And we say that those responsibilities which are to him are also of two categories. There are those which we call the macro responsibilities, and we call the other the micro responsibilities. The macro responsibilities are those which we do it collectively. Example, we gave that somebody starts a university or a center in the name of the Imam for the sake of Allah, and carries out the message of Islam. That center cannot function by one individual. There are several people who together put together that institution for the imam. Therefore, you have those who have financial strength, they give money. There are those who have got managerial skills, they give their services. And they are therefore different. There are those who are participants, very important. If you just have a center, beautiful center, good management, but people don't show up, then the value of that institution is minimized. Therefore, collectively, people work for Imam in that sense. And we mentioned several examples of collective responsibilities. Then we say there are certain individual responsibilities which we term the micro responsibilities. And we just mentioned a few examples, we just started on it. And we mentioned about the role of parents in bringing up the children in such a way that they prepare for the Imam. That if the Imam were to come tomorrow, we already have prepared ourselves and our children. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His wisdom does not send, the Imam does not come in our lifetime, when we leave the world, we have left behind a generation that is going to carry out the duties that we were supposed to do, which we did. Now the children will teach their children, and so this system will continue. That's collective responsibility. And I'll give one example of how this is done. We mentioned about the story, not the story, but the event of how Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wassalam goes to the mosque. That is where the center of madrasa of teaching was. The Prophet gives guidance. Imam Hassan comes back. The mother asks him, we saw it yesterday, what did you learn? And Imam Hassan relates what he has learned to the mother. And when Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam comes to at home, Fatima Zahra talks to him, discusses with him about what was taking place in the mosque. And Amir al-Mu'mineen takes interest and asks, and how did you find it? Hassan told me. So I want to hear Hassan say it. And we saw how it all shows that model. This is so how we should also do. When we send our children to the institutes of learning, we must show a lot of interest and give encouragement to those who do that job of running the madrasa and teaching, spending so much of their valuable time after the teaching. Show interest. When the children come home, ask them, what did you learn? And alhamdulillah, I was here on last occasion, and I saw the teacher who teaches different things, limited time, but teaches different approaches that are highly recommended in schools. I'm an educator myself. I've seen this system. One of the best systems is diversification. The children do it themselves. The teacher listens, he corrects them, he gives them homework to do from home. And he knows what the parents are going to do. It's the best way of doing it. But how much can a teacher do? Once a week. And he spends so much of his valuable time. Give him encouragement. And that is the next theme that we are going to discuss briefly today. This is verses Al-Malu wal-Banuna zinatul hayati dunya wal-baqiyatu salihat. What do you make of your wealth and your children is more permanent, Allah says, than just spending it. Therefore, we won't talk about wealth, but about children. That you have, as I say, that once your child goes out of your house, he is surrounded by so many challenges that are negative, that can destroy the child. Yes, secularly, yes, the child can thrive. But is that all that we want our children only to be secular only? We want them to be balanced. You see, and this is something which is amazing. This center, other centers. You see the humble people, when first came here and you step into them, this is these humble people who greet you, who sit with you, and this is how we human beings are. We think, oh, this must be some of those people. Ultimately, you find that these are the most educated people, most highly careered people who are highly educated. They are doctors, they are engineers, they have got a very, very, very high position in society. But when they come to the mosque, we see them humble and humility. What? Why has that happened? Because of the parents. The education, the system that they got, the education that they got in their own homes. That is why you see, that's why we should pray our parents that we have become what we are because of our parents. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, two traditions. Maybe they are related, maybe they are part of it, but they are stated as two different traditions. Tradition number one, that the Prophet talks about Akhirul Zaman, about the period in which we are going to live. He says one of the situations in that period will be the children would like very much to know about Islam, about truth. But their parents would encourage them to be more of this world, to get all the benefits of this world. When it comes to giving them an opportunity to learn about Islam and about, they will not give that much of importance. Related to that, then the second tradition, he says on the day of Qiyamah, there will be those mu'mineen who are what? Who have fulfilled all the obligations to that extent that now they have got clearance to go to paradise, to go to Jannah. As they move towards Jannah, the children will raise objection. Ya Allah, how come these parents today have earned paradise for all the good deeds that they have deprived us? They did not give us that opportunity for us also to be like them, so that we also should today go into Jannah and we are stranded here. And he said that hadith stops here. Allah says then there is no Jannah for you, go back. When he said it, then the Prophet shed his tears. He says this is what is going to happen in the time of Akhir Zaman. This is the area in which we are living. Aren't we facing these problems today? Why? Because there are two things which we tend to give a lot of significance. And when I say it, I don't mean you, I'm talking more about myself. The society which I live, the place which I live, I can see two things. One is modernism, and second is materialism. We think more about our children. Yes, why are we here? A lot of us, we're talking with some of the friends here who come here. They tell us they had the best where they were. And I say, you're telling the same thing, you're talking to me. I had the best. You had the best. Why did we leave all that and had to come and face all the difficulties in this part of the world for our children? When I look at myself that I have been able to secure up to this high stage, what will happen to these children of mine, the situation in which we live in that part of Africa, where there were no facility for further education? We lived during the British era, so we benefited. Those after that, independence, things were difficult. So we decided to leave that country to come and stay here. Why? For the sake of our children. Very good. We teach them, we do everything for them, but then there are these two things. We become too materialistic. We're just thinking about how the child is going to benefit materially, become the doctor, whatever, and makes a lot of money, and that's all we are thinking about. We forget that there is something else, has to be that balance. And second thing is modernization. Allahu Akbar. In the name of religion, things are slightly being changed. The changes that, and there is, alhamdulillah, there is this tradition which is This tradition is coming from the member. Everywhere you hear this tradition, and it becomes like a common thing. Everyone, any educator who comes, it mentions this. Amir al-Mu'mineen has said that bring your children according to the age in which you live. It's not true. Amir al-Mu'mineen never said it. You'll be surprised. Muhammad Rizvi of Toronto carried out a research, and he says, if anyone has seen this, show it to me. There is no hadith for that same Amir. He says, one of the commentators, Ibn Abi Hadith, Al-Muttazali, the way he interprets it, he says, Amir al-Mu'mineen has not said it, we take it for granted. So because of that, everything must be changed. We children, we should change with time. We should compromise. And if our children have got exams, then they should not come to the mosque. We are prioritizing, we are telling them that your exams are more important than your spiritual benefits. This is what the message is going. There will come a time. They will also tell their own children, these places will be sold. The way churches are being sold today, these centers also will be sold. Believe me, when I'm dead, you'll come to my grave and you'll tell, if we do not take it. This is what Imam is saying. This is what these verses are saying. Be very, very careful about your children. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam, in his wasiyah that he wrote in Nahjul Balagha for Imam Hadith, these are Ma'asum, his children were Ma'asum, they did not need. This is for generations to come. He says, Hassan, a child is such that inside him, psychologically, his mental, he is like a virgin soil. Virgin soil. Whatever is put inside it, it will grow. Oh Hassan, if the love, the goodness is put into that soil, it will flourish and become goodness. If it is not, whatever else is put, it will grow. He says, Hassan, I taught you that way. That's why you are Hassan what you are. Children, our children, we have to be very careful. We are told, oh yes, you do indoctrinate them. Of course we indoctrinate them. If you don't indoctrinate them, somebody else will indoctrinate them. What do you tell them? Imam as-Sadiq says, teach your children our love. Teach them about Quran. Teach them about Ahlul Bayt and our Wilayah. Teach them. Indoctrinate, yes, because otherwise they will indoctrinate about Shaitan. And this is modernization today. A lot of things are in the name of Islam, in the garb of Islam. They are bringing in a lot of changes. To that extent, there are certain, and I don't mean here, there are some places where they want to teach teachers, to teach in madrasa, they are bringing an actress. Now, this is the member, I'm not lying. They bring an actress to come and teach madrasa teachers how to teach, because they have got skills. These universities have got skills. Our people don't have skills. There's so many educators in this community. No, but we have to get these people from outside, and they will come and teach us. Yes, sometimes we bring this actress and they put the hijab on the head, so there's no problem for that. This is modernization. This is what is happening. And if you, we say it because our tongues are being cut. When you talk about these things, delegations come to our houses and say, you're speaking too much. You better mind what you are saying, otherwise your tongue will be cut. You'll be deprived from having access to the community people. Why? Because you people are old of you, you're useless. Your days are gone. These are the days of sin. This is what Imam has warned us. Be careful, you will lose. This is the best work that can be done is our ladies, our women. Men mostly are so very busy, and the way we deal with children is different from the way women, mothers deal with the children. Therefore, our mothers must be very careful. They must have this, and this is what is one of the duties of the center. Have a center like this is very good, But don't stop here. Expand yourselves. Have more courses. Involve the parents also. The parents also need to be taught in this society. Young parents, very innocent, young people, very innocent, very good people. Our youth are excellent people, but they need to be taught, they need to be told that there are lines to be drawn. And therefore this is what is very, very important point that Imam has said. And tonight is a special night, therefore I won't talk much about anything else but about the personality. Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wa salam. It's a known fact, it has been written everywhere, that whenever they went and got this Male Ghanima, and battles took place, there was this booty that they got. So it was distributed, everybody had his share. It is said Amirul Mu'mineen, when he reached home, he didn't have anything in his hand. All the booty, all the mal that he got, his share, he would distribute it. This is Amirul Mu'mineen, who, during the battle of Siffin, he was sitting outside his tent, he was mending his shoe. He was mending his shoe. Ibn Abbas passed there and looked at him. This is the Khalifa of the time, Imam of the time, yes. Also Khalifa of the time, yes. And the army is all, he is the chief, he's there. So he said, Ali ibn Abi Yama, what is this? What are you doing? He says, this is my shoe and it is broken, so I'm mending it. Then he looked at him and said, Ibn Abbas, evaluate how much will I get for this shoe? Ibn Abbas said, Mawla, should I tell you the truth? He says, yes. Nothing. Who's going to take this shoe? Amir Mu'mineen said, the value of this world to me is even less of a worth to me than this shoe.
Wow.
This is Amirul Mu'mineen. This is how Amirul Mu'mineen and wealth. Therefore, in history, it is said Amirul Mu'mineen materially had never ever wished for anything. He said the thing that he wished was for a son. He calls Aqil, I want to marry a woman in that family, in that clan, known for their courage, known for their bravery. So that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begged that he gives me a son who has the valor, who has this sanctity, who has the strength, who inherits me in that sense. And Aqil gets Fatima Kalabiya, who we know as Ummul Banin. And Abbas ibn Ali was born from that wedding. And how Abbas ibn Ali therefore was brought up. A few instances. There are certain characteristics in history, you don't know much about them, but there are certain instances in their life that ultimately you find how great those personalities work. Briefly, therefore, tonight we'll talk at about 9 different, if we have time, 9 different instances that show the character of Ali, of Hazrat Abbas, son of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wa salam. One is a said reason for his birth. Ali ibn Abi Talib wishes, otherwise Ali did not materially ask for anything, but he wished to have this son. And Allah gave him this son. And they say, therefore, something that we hear about Abbas during his age is the battle of Siffin. That's instance number 2. In the battle of Siffin, Abbas is about 12, 13 years old. He's young. But physically, he is matured. And see, the battle which was taking place, they were 1-to-1. There was that time when one soldier would come and fight with the other, another, and then they would fight in groups. But this one, at this particular moment, comes this young man, he covered his face. He came so to ask to fight. And he started fighting and he started winning. One of the army, one of the most famous brave army man at that time, he looks around and says, this young man keeps on killing people. He has to be silenced. The son said, how are you going to silence him? He said, he had 7 children. He said, one of my sons will go and why? Send him his son. His son is killed. That way all the 7 children are killed. The man is furious. He says, now I will go and take care of this boy. He goes there and he is also killed. Now when this happens, army people say, we don't want to go because this is Ali ibn Abi Talib. Ali ibn Abi Talib has never ever failed. This is Ali, we cannot fight with Ali. At that time, Imam Amir al-Mu'minin comes out. So they say, if this is Ali, then who is this? He moves the mask. This is Abbas ibn Ali. And therefore you will see that he is referred as Qamar al-Bani Hashim. And there are only 3 personalities in Islamic history who have got that Qamar, that title of a moon. Abdul Muttalib, Qamar al-Batha. He is the moon of Batha, of Makkah. Then Abdullah, the father of our Prophet, Qamar al-Haram, the Haram, Qamar, and Qamar al-Bani Hashim, Abbas ibn Ali. This is Abbas ibn Ali. The third instant is Imam's last day. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib is in his last breath. And he calls Imam Hassan, and he calls all the family members. And he calls Imam Hassan and takes all the kids, children, and say, Hassan, I am giving this to you, all my children, from now onwards, Hassan. He is the one whom you follow. Hassan, these are your responsibility. But, very interesting, Abbas is on the side. So it is said the mother is a bit, Amir al-Mu'minin says, wait. Then he calls Hussein, come here. Takes Abbas, Hussein, Abbas. Hussein, this is Abbas. Abbas, this is Hussein. And the rest of it, they knew what it was. Abbas knew what his father meant, and Hussein knew what the father meant. I've said Ali ibn Abi Talib closed his head. And I saw one riwayah today when I was just doing research that there is this tradition, again I don't say anything which I don't see in the books, that Amir al-Mu'minin called Abbas and whispered in his ears. And what he said later on, Abbas revealed it. He told him on the day of Ashur, when you reach the Euphrates, don't drink water, because the children of Hussein at that time will be thirsty. This is then Abbas ibn Ali, and then you find that Abbas ibn Ali again appears at the time when Imam Hussein is called. Where is he called? He is called in the court of the governor of Kufa. The governor of Kufa received a letter from Yazid ibn Muawiyah in which it is said, get bay'ah from Hussein ibn Ali. Therefore, Imam Hussein is invited to go in the palace of the governor. Imam Hussein has his knowledge, knows what he is doing. Therefore, he said, I am going, but with me, you should come. He takes Abbas ibn Ali, and he takes a few of the youngsters from the family of Bani Hashim. Come with me, stand outside. Don't come inside, stand outside. When you hear my voice, if I raise my voice, then come inside. Don't do anything except come inside. That's it. Abbas ibn Ali is the one who takes these young boys, Qasim, Ja'far, Uthman. Oh, these are the youngsters from the family of Bani Hashim. They all are waiting outside. Imam Hussein goes inside. Walid, the governor, gave the letter of Yazid. Long story short, he asked, you have to give bay'ah. And Imam Hussein said, I will not give bay'ah right now. Give me time. At that time, Marwan ibn Hakam, he is sitting there. And the governor says, okay, you can go. Marwan said, don't make that mistake. Force Hussein to give bay'ah. If he doesn't, kill him. It is at that time that Imam Hussein raised his voice. He says, "Who are you to force me and to threaten me with death?" Immediately Abbas ibn Ali came into the court. His appearance alone was enough to silence everybody else. This is a palace. There are so many soldiers inside. But the only presence of Abbas was such that they all kept quiet. And Imam Hussein and he went out safely from the court. See, this is the character of Abbas. And then they decided to leave Medina. Logistics, imagine that those are the days to travel with family, to take the children, to arrange. It takes a lot of logistics are required, a lot of planning. Everything was done by Abbas ibn Ali. With the coordination, Abbas, we are going. And this is what he did. He made all the necessary arrangements to travel, all arranged by Abbas ibn Ali. And it's the time now to leave. And I say there is a person who quotes his mother. He says, "My mother has told me." What is she told? That I noticed. What did she notice? They say, when the women were being transported, when they were helped to ride the horses and the camel, he says there were ladies, a lot of ladies were coming out and being taken by the children and made to ride. He said Hussein ibn Ali, Imam, was sitting on a chair. And to him was Abbas ibn Ali, who was coordinating all the effort. Suddenly he said that we saw that he went inside and he came out with a lady. She was totally covered. And the way Abbas was handled, the way he was treating this lady was such weak. He said, "Who is this lady who has been given so much respect?" People say, "This is Zainab, the daughter of Ali." He says Abbas and the respect that he was giving to the family of Imam Hussein. This family, therefore, Abbas is there all along this journey, hard journey. Abbas is the one who is helping them all go along. Wherever there is anything, Abbas is in the front. Till they reach in Karbala, Abbas establishes khayma, tents along the shore of the Euphrates. When Umar ibn Saad comes there, he gives instructions, remove these tents. And Abbas ibn Ali, we should remove these tents? Imam Hussein says, Abbas, that's what we do. Sam'an wa ta'atan. No question asked, nothing at all. This is the Imam of the time. What he says, we'll do it. And this is what he does. He makes arrange. All those tents are removed from there. And Abbas, there is a restriction of water started from 4th of Muharram. Only 7th of Muharram it became impossible to get into. So they were running short of water all the time. And Abbas would make all the efforts to break through the siege that was made on Furat, and he would go and get some water. So there was some water coming up to the 7th. It is on the 7th that now it was totally 4,000 soldiers now were put along the shore so that Imam Hussein should not be able to get any water. And this is the time when it became very difficult. Therefore it is said, and in the old, when we went to Karbala in 60s, whenever you go to Khaybaga, where the tents are, they used to show you at the back. They said on the 8th of Muharram, which is tomorrow, on the 7th, there was a shortage of water. So they said Abbas ibn Ali dug wells at the back of Khayma. But it is the wish of Allah, and the test for them was such. He says the water that came was salty. This was not water that we used to drink. So most likely that water was used to do wudu, which is mentioned that on the night of Ashur, some riwayah mentioned the Sahaba did wuzu. Where did the water come from? Most likely it was this salt water that you could not drink. There was therefore shortage of water. And ultimately on that eve of Ashur, difficulties were there. On the eve of Ashur, Imam Hussein is sitting and he is just sitting like this. Then suddenly Shimr ibn Zuljawshan is coming with a force. And this time with the command that Imam Hussein either gives bay'ah or kill him, fight him and kill him. As these forces come, there's a lot of commotion. Remember, there's so many soldiers, and then suddenly Shimr comes with it. There is a lot of commotion, and there is a fear. When this happens, Zuhair ibn Qayn, who was already on the side of Imam Hussein, he said, "Where is Abbas? Where is Abbas?" He doesn't see Abbas. See, even the Sahab, even those who they all looked up to Abbas. Where is Abbas? Where is Abbas? He goes around, then ultimately he goes to a khayma, Allahu Akbar. He sees Abbas sitting in the middle with all the children from the family Ahlul Bayt surrounding him. He was concerned. He was that pillar for the family, for the ladies, for the children, for Imam Hussein, for everything are sitting there. He says, Abbas, Shimr has come. Imam Abbas comes out. And that time Zuhair reminds Imam Abbas. He says, Abbas, do you remember why you were born and how you were born? That your father had wished that you be born? Abbas told him, Zuhair, you are motivating me. You are motivated. You will see tomorrow when the battles have to be fought. You will see how I fight. Zuhair, don't think that I have lost my patience, I have lost my strength, I have lost my sabr. Shimr comes there, and first thing which he does is he calls out, where are my cousins? Somehow there is a relationship between the mother of Abbas and the family clan of Shimr. They were so much afraid of Abbas that they thought if the Abbas comes on their side, this battle is gone, finished. Therefore, where are my cousins? Abbas does not reply. Imam Hussein says he is asking for you. Go, listen to what he says. Abbas comes forward and Shimr says, I have brought a letter of pardon for you. A letter to take you away from here. Come join us. Or leave here if you don't want to join us. And he asked, and have you brought such a letter for Hussein ibn Ali? He said, no. He said, then your amnesty, keep it to yourself. I don't need amnesty. The sons of Fatima are in this position, and you are giving me amnesty? I don't want your amnesty. This is the loyalty of Abbas ibn Ali. And then comes the Shimr is about to attack. Umar ibn Sa'd gave orders to attack them. Imam Hussein said, go ask them. Tell them I want a night, one night, so that I can pray. Who goes and negotiates? Abbas ibn Ali, with a few of Sahaba. So you'll see all these tasks that had to be done. Abbas ibn Ali is always in front of it. He does all that. And therefore this Abbas ibn Ali has got that status in the eyes of Masumin, that Imam, our fourth Imam and our sixth Imam, this ziyarah that you read, this is a separate ziyarah for the Abbas, not for any other shaheed. And the Imams in one of the ziyarah says, oh Abbas, you are like those soldiers of Jang of Badr. The battle of Badr, when Kuffar of Makkah had attacked them, the first battle, Islam was in jeopardy. And these soldiers gave their lives to save Islam. By the same token, Imam says, oh Abbas, you are like, you have reached a status like the martyr of Badr. Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salatu wasalam, when he sees, after the events of Karbala, one of the sons of Hazrat Abbas who survives comes there. When he sees them, he calls him and says, may Allah have mercy on your father. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he gave his life. And you know Allah has rewarded him how? Allah has given, he lost his arms, Allah has given him wings. And he is in Jannah like Ja'far al-Tayyar. Ja'far al-Tayyar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way he honored him, Abbas has been honored in that sense. And on the day of Qiyamah, when every shaheed, all those who have given their lives in the way of Islam, when they will be rewarded, Allahu Akbar, those people on the day of Qiyamah will be looking and say, this is the position of these people who gave their lives. He says, but the position of Abbas will be such that those who have been given such a high position would do rabta. They will look at it and they will not do jealousy. It's not jealousy. It's like, if only we also could have this kind of position. And the position that he has in the eyes of Fatima Zahra salawatullahi alayha, Mali Sibtain, I'm quoting from Mali Sibtain. Mali Sibtain quotes this. And he says there is one Zair, one is person who goes for ziyarah of Abu Abdullah Hussein very, very regularly. And one day, and he is a Sayyid also, and one day he says he sees his grandmother Fatima Zahra salawatullahi alayha in her dreams, and he goes and she is disappointed with him. She turns away her face from him. He says, oh my grandmother, why are you turning away your face? He says, you're not doing justice to my son. You're not going for the ziyarah of my son. He says, oh my grandmother, I go for ziyarah daily 3 times, 4 times. He says, I'm not mentioning about Hussein, I'm talking about Abbas. My son Abbas, you are not going there as regularly as you should do. This is the status of Abbas. Mali Sibtain again mentions that on the day of Hashr, on the day of Qiyamah, when all of us will be there, Nafsa, Nafsi, when all the prophets will be there, Nafsa, Nafsi, at that time a voice would come, O people of Mahshar, close your eyes, the daughter of Rasulullah is coming. It is saying everybody would be closing the eyes. And Fatima Zahra salawatullahi alayha will come in that day. And he said she will come there and she will say that for the shifa of Ummah today and for the case that I am going to present today in front of Allah to tell them of the dhulm that was done on our family, Abbas's severed hands is enough for me. Do you understand the position of Abbas ibn Ali? The status that Allah has given to Abbas ibn Ali? And he is referred to as Babul Hawaij. This title is given to 2 Imams. All of them are Babul, but the actual title is given to our 7th Imam, Musa ibn Ja'far, and the 9th Imam, Imam Taqi al-Jawad. These are all buried in Baghdad. The same title is given to Abbas ibn Ali. So many miracles take place where Abbas is buried today. And these are a lot of things that has to be said. The time does not permit. One more, and that is there is one, again this is from Nafas al-Mahmum. Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi mentions this, that there is a person who used to write poetry. He writes poetry, and poets have their own license. Sometimes they say certain things which you can do only in poems. You cannot do normal. So he writes that on the day of Ashur, it came a position where Imam Hussein, Imam of the time, had to take refuge in his brother Abbas. When he wrote this, then he said, oh, what did I say? What did I say? He stopped. His friend, next day comes to him. He says, you know what happened? He said, what? He said, yesterday I saw Hussein ibn Ali in my dreams. Imam. And he says, go, tell your friend what he wrote, continue. On the day of Ashur, there did come a time when I turned to Abbas. See, this is the position of Abbas. And then there is another Zakir. A Zakir reads about zikr of Imam Hussein on the mimbar. And one day he saw Hazrat Abbas in his dreams. And he told him, you're reading everything, but there is one thing that you have not read so far. One thing that happened to me, you have not read so far. So he asked, what is it that I haven't read? He said that all those soldiers went to fight. When they fought, ultimately when they're about to fall from their horses, when you fall from a height, you use your hands to support yourself. He said, my position was such, my hands had been severed, I fell from the horse. These are the musibah that befell the family of the Prophet. And therefore, on the day of Ashur, there comes a time that all the family, all the Sahaba, all the Ansar are martyred. There comes a time that all the family members are all martyred. There is no one left. Abbas ibn Ali had his other three brothers, Abdul Rahman, Uthman, and Jafar, all young in the youth. They were also martyred. Abbas is alone. He comes to Imam Hussein and he says, Abda Rasulullah, now that we are left, let me also go and do miraz. Imam looks at him and says, Abbas, you are the heart of my army. If I would ask, Abda Rasulullah, where is your army? Where are your friends all gone? Maybe Imam will reply that as far as Abbas was there, I felt that my whole army was still with me. There was one tent in which they used to keep all the vessels that contained water. At that time, Abbas looks around and he sees these children from the family of Ahlul Bayt. They are putting their bodies with touching it with those vessels. Why? To cool themselves, so the water. When he sees this position of the children and they were crying out, Al-Atash, Al-Atash, Al-Atash. Then he comes to Imam Hussein and says, oh, Yabna Rasulullah, allow me then to go and get water for these children. Imam Hussein looks at him and he says, Abbas, go get water for the children. There is this one account, therefore it says that Abbas ibn Ali then took a water skin in which they used to put the water, the mashk that we sold on these alams. And in his hand he took a spear, did he say, and the alam. I was thinking, Ya Abbas, why would you take alam? He says, this alam is the sign that so far as I am there, this alam which the Prophet used to carry, Amir al-Mu'mineen used to carry in the battle of Badr, in the battle of Siffin, this is the same alam. I will carry it up to the last moment to show that so far as I am alive, the deen of Allah will survive. And Hussein is still alive. Abbas goes towards the Euphrates. 4,000 soldiers are there. Can you believe it? And for him to gain access into the river, I don't know how it happened, but this is how it happened. He managed to get inside, and remember, this is made up of skin, and with the heat of Iraq, it must have shrunk for that vessel of skin to expand and to be such as to be able, it takes time. Imagine all that time Abbas is in Furat and water is in front of him. He doesn't take even a drink. The family of Ahlul Bayt, they are, and this is the time when he remembered the wasiya of his father. He told him, Abbas, when you reach there, don't drink water. He fills the vessel. Now he is going back. His focus is not on fighting. His focus is to take this water and send it to the family of Ahlul Bayt. Umar ibn Asad carries out that this is the time, do not allow Abbas to take this water to Khayma. And therefore they started attacking Abbas, throwing arrows at him, arrows after arrows after arrows. one of these coward soldiers from behind. He comes and he severs the arm, the right arm, elbow from here. You see, beneath the elbow, here, severed. As soon as that happens, it is on that shoulder that he is carrying that vessel of water. Immediately, with the other hand, he controls it. And in the process of doing so, another person comes and severs his left arm. Abbas has lost his arms, but he takes care of Mashk, and Alam is still standing there. And from behind, from the khayma, Hazrat Sakina takes all the children and they are standing outside. My uncle is going to bring water. My uncle is going to bring water. As he has always done before, very soon he'll bring water. Children are all standing with their vessels, waiting for the uncle to come. They see Allah moving here and there, but the alarm is still there. They can see it. There comes a time. Umar ibn Saad sends his servant, his slave, with a club. He takes that club and he hits on the head of Abbas ibn Ali. Abbas ibn Ali, as he himself had said before, he falls from the horse. Remember, his body was full of arrows. His body fell with force on the ground. What must have happened to him? Allah knows. That is the time when he calls out. And he did not call Imam Hussein, come to help me. He said, oh my brother, this is my last salutation to you. Imam Hussein, when he hears this, goes towards the battlefield and comes to where Abbas is. It is said that before reaching where Abbas was lying, he first saw the arms of Abbas. Historians say if his arms were severed, then how come he got the arms first and then his body? Abbas must have gone back to fight and get water for the children of Ahlul Bayt, even though he had lost his arms. When Imam Hussein reached to the body of Abbas, Hamid bin Muslim says, Imam Hussein lowered himself down and put his face on the face of Abbas. Oh Abbas, your brother is here. Abbas. He takes his head and puts it on his lap. Then he sees Abbas is weeping. He says, oh my brother, why are you crying? He says, I'm crying. You have put my head on your laps. What will happen to you when you will fall down? I would say, if I were there, I would say, Abbas, don't worry. Fatima to Zahra will come out from Jannah. Jannat se muka karti hui Fatima aayi sar peet ke yu kehne lagi, ay Husaina. Abbas gives his last wasiyah. Maula, do not take my body to the tent. Why? Muharram give two reasons. One reason is Abbas had promised the children he would bring water for them. He therefore did not want to go back. But the more logical reason is the body of Hazrat Abbas was such that it would be very difficult for Imam Hussein to carry that body to the Khayma. And therefore he told him, Abbas told Imam Hussein, leave my body here only. Abbas left this world forever. Imam Hussein read Marcia, very small, but it tells us everything. Abbas, Abbas, your passing away has broken my backbone. Abbas, now I find myself in a situation where I cannot come out of it. And then Hussein ibn Ali took the alam, but this time he did not raise that alam. That alam which fell on the day of Ashur, never ever any Imam raised it or had the opportunity to raise it. Abbas, Imam Hussein goes to the Khaybar. Imagine those children who are standing there with their vessels. Mali Sibtain says that Sakina came forward and asked, "Oh my father, where is my uncle?" Imam Hussein said, "Oh Sakina, your uncle has left us." The children did not ask any question. They took their vessels and they threw those vessels. It is said from then onwards they stopped crying out, "Allah Tash, Allah Tash." Zaina, the daughter of Amirul Mu'mineen, Mali Sibtain says, she came out and asked, "Oh Hussein, where is Abbas?" Imam tells her, "Oh Zaina, Abbas has left us forever." And there is that Marsiya that Imam Hussein reads. And this Marsiya he says, "Up to today, Abbas, because you are alive, my enemies were not sleeping at night. Abbas, my children were sleeping peacefully at night. Abbas, from today onwards, my children will not sleep, and your enemies will sleep." Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Matam Hussein.
Ya Abbas. Ya Abbas. Ya Abbas. Ya hey Alam. Aur Alamdar. Ya hey Alam. Aur Alamdar. Ya hey Alam. Aur Alamdar. और अलंकार नाया आया है अलम और अलंकार